In LeBron James' first stint with the Cavs, he always needed a Robin to his Batman, and the Cavs almost had that for him in his prime, Amare Stoudemire. Jump back to the 2009-2010 season, the last year of LeBron and Amare's contracts. The Cavs are currently feeling the pressure of not only winning a ring for LeBron, but convincing him to stay. An opportunity would arise during the season for a trade. The trade involves the Cavs sending an expiring contract in Zydrunas Ilgauskas, and at the time, a young promising big man in J.J. Hickson, along with a first-round pick for Amare Stoudemire. Ultimately, the Cavs made the costly mistake of wanting to keep J.J. Hickson as a precaution to the potential of LeBron leaving, and they wanted J.J. to be a young piece to build around in case that happened. This led to the Cavs ultimately acquiring Antawn Jamison instead for just Zydrunas Ilgauskas and a first-round pick. Of course, as we all know, that led to the Cavs not winning a ring and losing LeBron James. For the sake of this video, let's look at why this trade should not have only happened, but how this would have potentially reshaped the NBA for years to come. From the Phoenix Suns standpoint, the championship window had all but closed. Steve Nash was getting older, and the writing on the wall was that Amare Stoudemire was going to leave the Suns in free agency. This trade would allow them to remain with cap flexibility in a trade and a buyout with Big Z, a young piece in Hickson, and a first-rounder to start the rebuild. From the Cavs standpoint, the perspective is very obvious. They sorely need another star to pair with LeBron, and him and Amare make the perfect weapon to pair him with. Amare thrived in the pick and roll with Steve Nash, and LeBron thrived running the pick and roll with the Cavs. The thought of a team trying to choose how to defend the pick and roll is a terrifying proposition for any opposing team. It's truly a pick your poison type situation, with two guys in their prime who are MVP caliber talents. The Cavs would have LeBron, who averaged 29.7 points per game, 8.6 assists per game, and 7.3 rebounds per game, with Amare Stoudemire, who also averaged a staggering 23 and 9. To this point, LeBron had never been paired with such a talent, and this would be a game changer. The new starting lineup would be well-rounded and formidable, with a point guard of then All-Star Mo Williams, shooting guard, combo guard Delonte West, small forward LeBron James, power forward Amare Stoudemire, and at center Shaquille O'Neal, with Z as his main backup. In 2010, the Cavs lost to the Celtics in the Eastern Conference semifinals in 7 games. But with this trade, the Cavs now have a true chance to not only beat them, but to make it all the way to the finals. There were 2 big issues for the Cavs-Celtics series, which ultimately led to the Celtics winning. Those issues were LeBron needing to share the bulk of the scoring load, and Antawn Jamison's inability to score or defend against Kevin Garnett. Amare remedies both of these problems for the Cavs. While Amare was not necessarily known as a strong defender, his size and athletic ability would challenge Garnett enough on defense. On the other end of the floor, the constant threat of KG having to defend Amare reshapes this entire series, and ultimately sways the series in the Cavs' favor, leading them to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. The next matchup for a chance to make the finals would have been the rematch from the previous year, Superman Dwight Howard and the Orlando Magic. The Cavs' defense struggled mightily versus this team in the previous year. They were not able to defend Dwight and had to send constant double teams his way, leaving sharpshooters wide open. Not only the Cavs win this series because of the Amare acquisition, but the real Superman himself, Shaq, who was able to defend or at least eliminate the need to double Dwight, is a game changer. This leads us to the NBA Finals that every NBA fan has always dreamed of. LeBron James versus Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers. This matchup would be one for the ages, and one nobody would soon forget. The storylines more than write themselves. Not only is this LeBron versus Kobe, but all of a sudden, it's Kobe versus Shaq in the quest for who will have more championship rings in their careers. Let's see how these teams match up. First, at center, you have the young but very talented Andrew Bynum going against Shaq, the man that Bynum replaced. Without a doubt, Shaq would be highly motivated to get this ring and show up the young Andrew Bynum. In the case of this series, let's say that these two ultimately nullify each other. Next up, Pau Gasol at power forward versus Amare Stoudemire. These are two elite big men in their prime. This matchup would also be near even as well, with a slight edge offensively to Amare, due to his quickness being a real issue for Pau to stay in front of him. At small forward, you would have a two-prong attack from the Lakers: Metta World Peace and Lamar Odom versus LeBron James. While both Metta World Peace and Lamar are very solid defenders, LeBron wins this matchup easily on both ends of the court. On the other hand, you have at shooting guard for the Lakers, Kobe Bryant, who, as we all know, is already the ultimate competitor, but has even more juice in that tank to make sure he beats Shaquille O'Neal. Ultimately, though, his matchup will be with Cavs guard Delonte West, who is also a very solid player, but as we all know, this is a huge advantage to Kobe. On the other hand, you have at point guard Mo Williams, who is coming off his first ever All-Star season, versus seasoned vet Derek Fisher. In this case, we're going to give the edge to the younger, more dynamic Mo Williams. Ultimately, in my opinion, this Cavs team simply matches up too well and has too many key advantages and pulls off its first championship in franchise history. Stories write themselves. Shaquille O'Neal gets another ring. LeBron, who's in the final year of his contract, fulfills his career promise to the city of Cleveland. Ironically, though, despite the Cavs winning a title, as LeBron stated, he was always going to leave in the free agency of 2010 and ultimately join the Miami Heat. But this time it's different. The fans aren't angry. He leaves a hero. He ended the championship drought for the city and fulfilled his promise. On the other hand, Amare's wild ride continues. And instead of signing with New York, his deep bond developed with a championship run leads him to follow LeBron to Miami, creating the new Big Three with Dwayne Wade. As you might recall, Amare went to the Knicks and suffered many injuries that derailed his career. That leaves us to question, will Amare's body ultimately betray him again, but this time in Miami? How will that affect the Heat? Will the Heat be able to win 2 championships in 4 years like they did with Chris Bosh? Or will they be able to win any with Amare's injury history? It turns out that had this trade gone through, a couple-month rental could have led us to a new championship in 2010, the Cavaliers, the vaunted 2010 NBA free agency that would have played out completely differently, with players such as Chris Bosh free to sign elsewhere, and the complete derailment of another dynasty in the 2010 through 2014 Miami Heat. This would have reshaped NBA history as we know it, just based on a couple-month rental with Amare. Comment below how you think the NBA would be reshaped had Amare been traded to the Cavs in 2009-2010 season. Does Amare going to the Heat derail their success? Do you think the Cavs win the title in 2009-2010? Do you think LeBron or even Amare just decide to stay in Cleveland? Or do you think Chris Bosh still ultimately becomes the 3rd member of the Miami Heat? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching the first video on 3-Letter League. I am your host, John, and I look forward to making many more videos. Please be sure to like and subscribe.